one question that gets asked a lot is about the type of touch that I have. People don't realize how light my touch is, and even though he's 6'3", he's a big boy, but I'm not going to touch him necessarily much harder than I would a baby. I'm starting to use my motion sensor mat because I want you to see not only his pressure here, but how light my touch is, and I'm just looking to initiate a weight transfer. If I were to just touch him, you can see how he might get input from where my hand is touching, but if you look at the way that the mat is utilizing his information, you're not getting it from his body's movement. So even though I'm not going to change my hand position, you really want to initiate just this gentle weight transfer, but the transfer for the most part happens on the floor. If you look at a little baby starting to move, they move through their whole bodies. They don't move through the top. So let's say again, if I do the top, what it looks like, you'll still see a weight transfer, but that's different if I input more from his system. You'll get more what I call real estate, the way he maps onto the floor. Even if I come up here, I'm going to go down into the floor and move him. I'm not rolling him from the top. And there you can just see, it's even hard for me to move him this way. I push down and I'm rolling him through. So now even though I'm going to work on the shoulder, just to see where I am with the map, I'm still taking in consideration of where he is as his whole body moves. I go this slow too because I just felt a little glitch in his lower back. Now I can acknowledge that glitch and get back to it later, or I can just, in a sense, acknowledge it. Don't have to give him a full lesson on that area. I work on him enough to see, did my acknowledgement work? Is he going to give me the same response, or is he going to improve and not necessarily need to protect that particular rotation? And that's what I look at as a glitch. The glitch can either be the body saying, lady, I feel the movement, but I don't know what to do with that movement, so there's a little hiccup. It's sort of like writing code on a computer. Or it can mean also that I know that movement, and last time maybe I experienced pain when I did that movement, so I'm going to prevent it from happening. And when that's the case, I find it's more of a, quote, stiffening happen, a prevention going on. And you can see too that for the most part you're not seeing startles in his system. Now just tighten your one hand. Now you can see the difference of, quote, the weight transfer when there's a contraction in the area. And this is where I learn over experience. So then let that alone. So now see the difference of the weight transfer after he contracted his hand. However, now watch what's going on there. I'm going to stop. Now contract just one foot. And now look at the difference here of the way that the system wants to, see how it wants to weight transfer, but it still isn't. Now let the foot go. Now see the difference of how the weight transfer happens. So now go back and contract the hand again. See the difference? See how there's more of a block going on with his body in as far as the mat goes, that weight transfer imaging. Let that go. Now again, I'll tighten the foot. see how there's still a weight transfer going on, but you see still a stress on the way he wants to do it. Let that go. Versus here where you see much more movement. So that's what happens when you get into more of a practitioner level. You'll start to get used to feeling movements, or I should say lack of movements, maybe, whatever is your vocabulary. And you'll start to learn that when, let's say, the back is not, quote, moving, that doesn't mean you need to stay in this area because it's stiff or unresponsive. Again, whatever your vocabulary is. That's when you might have to go down and work on the ankle or work on a wrist or something like that to say, you know, I need your participation for the back to move better. Wrist kind of situations you see a lot are carpal tunnel. The carpal tunnel is a prime example of lower back not feeling right, pain, you're not listening to it, discomfort, oh, I've been sitting at my computer desk too long. So finally the wrist will start to get involved in that conversation. So really to do any kind of surgeries that way, you really want to work on the movement first and see if you can move better. Even if you are sitting at your desk for 9 hours, we all have lives. We can't just walk in green pastures with bare feet. But at the same time too, maybe he sprained his ankle somewhere down the line, and I would if I want the back to move this way and I'm feeling more of a short ping, again, contract the foot. So see how he comes back to me real quick. So I see the stress point down there, let go. That's where I might want to go in and work on that ankle or the foot to see, and then come back to see if that made a difference into the way he's moving this way. So that's another way of looking at touch and movement through movement lesson. Things like this come with practice. I've kind of been doing this for a while, so I have a lot of practice. If you think that's interesting, right now, contract your eyes. Look what eye strain alone does to the back. Now see how it's almost like the movement turned into like I'm giving him CPR. The back wants to move, but the front doesn't want to move as much as the back does. Let the eyes go. Again, where you see this nice weight transfer. So when you start looking at movement through the human body versus pieces and parts of the human body, it becomes a lot more fascinating to work with, and you can do a lot more with the body as a whole versus attempting to, quote, fix a part or make a part of your body better.